Welcome back to Lucore Automotive Services. Today we're working on a 3rd gen Camaro. It's a straight line drag car and it does everything except go in a straight line. So we're going to see what we can do to make it better. If you want to see what I do, stick around, click like, subscribe, leave us a comment below. Long lift. Catch the bump steer stays pretty clean. Set our toe so that it's at where we want it. Do I have any caster adjustments in this? Should be able to adjust caster at the top on the strut. On the strut body. The camber is actually pretty good, and with this system they're just going to droop as they go, so cambers are good. Let's set our caster in tow and then we'll figure out where we need to go from there. I also need to square up the backside. Take a look at our pinion angle. Where's my gauge? Nicely done, sir. Very nicely done. Ooh, that one was locked down to the wrong side. When the jam nuts aren't tight, it'll end up stripping out the arm. You gotta make sure that your jam nuts are jam nutted in the correct way. Let's square it up. I'm just going to do my square up over here, and then if we need to adjust pinion angle, we'll adjust them both in or out equally. this one's locked out correctly. Appears to be. Now our thrust angle is straight. That should take any push out the back end. That tie rod end is almost an inch longer than the other one, so let's balance those out. This one needs to be longer, that one needs to be shorter. Find our center. Well, I would like to see that box fit the frame a lot better. Within an eighth. So now my center link is centered in the car, and we will set our toe. And I'm going to have to fix that steering box because I can't let that thing leave here not being bolted down correctly. But I will worry about that after I get the chassis set, because it's just pulling the box off, trimming the sway bar bracket, and that should allow it to sit flush. My little squirty bottle over here. Let me go find squirt. Squirt. That bottle's probably older than Caleb. So that one's longer, it needs to come shorter. This one was shorter and it needs to be longer. Longer. They're both about 17¼ inches. I like that. We want everything to be equal in the same. That way our geometry moves in the same amounts. Let's move our caster and then we'll recomp this thing and make sure that we have repeatable results. And that's pretty much it. I need to check my brain fart. I need to check my pinion angle since I made some adjustments back there. But I will do that after I'm done with the alignment. So drop this thing down, add some caster to the driver's side. It's probably a good thing that I have to pull the gearbox off to make a remedy for proper installation on the box, because I need to reclock the steering wheel so that the steering wheel is centered to the suspension geometry. Basically, the steering wheel is hooked up to the steering gear incorrectly. We just need to rotate it and lock it back down. Nice work, man. Somebody's a really good welder. Nice work, clean install. I think this may already have all the caster it's going to get. We'll see if we can get a little more anyway. Give it the old college try. I gained 0.2 of a degree of caster. That's better. So we're looking pretty good. I'd like to see this caster a little bit higher, but I'm out of adjustment. So I'm just going to lock it down and let it fly. 0.3 of a degree isn't enough to worry about. I got my rear toe within 1/10 of a degree. Cross camber. My thrust angle's negligible. I'm pretty happy with that. This thing ought to drive a lot straighter. That's stiff. Basically 1/10 of a degree toe in to 4/10 toe out. So let's make a minor adjustment to our bump steer. And see, I'm going to add a little more height to it. I'm going to add like a 1/8" shim. We'll see how much it makes a change. We were going negative 0.4 degrees. We want it to go positive like 0.1 degree or stay the same. That would be optimal. Now we'll need to reset my toe. Let's check for center. Tape measure go. Now we're only towing out 0.3 degrees, so we made an improvement. Need more. Those little ones didn't change it much, so I'm going to put a thicker one in along with the thinner one, and then it'll probably be too far. I always like to put a shim on the bottom, which gives you a better range of motion on the Valheim. They actually make high clearance shims for the Valheims, which are nice, but with the bigger bolts and these Heims, those won't work. But it's nice to have something for a little extra clearance at height. That's 10 inches. There, it's at the end of the suspension travel. Still like 7 inches, so rise at this point. That's pretty good. And we are at 20 toe in, so I like that. 0.2 tenths. Sorry, 2 tenths, not 0.2 tenths. Decimal points, they're important. 2/10 of a degree toe in on, sorry, 3/10 of a degree toe in on lift. This was sitting at the 1/10 toed out. I'm going to square it up to like a 1/10 toe in, and running down the track it'll have a little more toe than that. It'll still be under a degree of toe, which it should be super stable. Got 3/10 of a degree cross caster at lift with 5 degrees of caster, so the weight of the car is going to help keep it stable. And my camber at lift is within 2/10 side to side, so I'm really happy with this suspension. This fella did a really nice job building this car. Long travel kits are the wave of the future, guys. This is what's going to keep you in the throttle and going in a straight line. Apparently, this car just came from another alignment shop. It said they were done with it, and then he took it down the street and said, yeah, that didn't work. So now it's here, and I'm having my go at it. I'll be excited to hear his feedback when he's done. I made a lot of little improvements. I need to pull this sway bar bracket off and trim it so that the gearbox will sit flush against the frame rail. It's just a safety thing. I can't let this leave my shop with that on there like that. I'm going to zip that off real quick, modify it. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to reclock the steering wheel because I'll have the gearbox loose, which will allow me to just pop it off the bottom spline shaft and rotate it, put it back together. It shouldn't be too big of an ordeal. He did a really nice job on his car. I give him props. Those look like 15s. Let me go grab some different tools. Hey, he matched his pitman arm to his idler arm as well. Good job. Thinking ahead. Now, I would recommend getting some new bolts. This one's not too bad. I've seen a lot worse. But this is what connects the nut behind the wheel to the car. You want those to be good. So this bracket needs to be notched here. You can see where the gear was locked against it. So I'm going to notch that out. Should be fine. Might even weld it back together down here for extra support since I'm going to weaken it. Yeah, we'll do that. That's better. I just need to notch it a little bit. It's not going to take much out of there. Let me go notch that guy. That guy right there. Hey, that'll work. Like that. Let's clock the steering wheel. I'm actually surprised they don't just make this bar without those brackets. Just eliminate those brackets, get rid of the weight, build them into this guy. Looks like I killed my battery again. Let me get my Vega box in. I straightened up my steering wheel. Looks like that's my winner. What do I look like over here? Oh, you know what? I need to hook it up to the frame. recomp this, verify our results, and see where we end up. Thrust angle is still within 1/10 of a degree. I'm happy with that. That's interesting. My toe out on turn on lift change. I wonder if it's because I had the box off. Did change a little bit. So steering box position is important. I need to add a little more shim. A lot more shim, actually. I guess in the future I will adjust that steering box first. Well, that wraps up this chassis setup. Can't really call what I'm doing to these race cars an alignment. An alignment is setting a car to its factory specifications in most shops. What I'm doing here is I'm taking a chassis that's been built with a bunch of different parts than what was installed from the factory and making them work together. I do this, it's a process, it takes time. We start these alignments at basically 2 hours labor. They often take 5 to 8 hours to set up a chassis. It's not an inexpensive thing to have done, but every one of the guys that I've done alignments for has been very, very happy with the work I've done. I'll be interested to see what his feedback is after he takes this thing out and makes some passes with it. He apparently just had it in an alignment shop, had it aligned. They told him it was good to go, and he said it wasn't. So now it's here. I'm working my magic. There was quite a few things that needed adjusted. Thrust line was out. Camber was set right. Toe was set okay. I balanced out the casters. And now my caster's within 3/10 of a degree across caster. My SAI is within 1/10 of a degree. My camber's within 2/10 of a degree. My toe's right where I want it, and I am towing in on lift where I was towing out on lift previously. I did relocate the steering box because it had a bracket that it was resting on, which more than likely it would have ended up coming down off of a launch and breaking the bolts off of the steering gear. So I remedied that issue, and of course, because I did that last, it messed up my bump steer, so I had to redo my bump steer again. So it's a learning process. In the future, I'll make sure that I check the steering gears to make sure they're square, and if they're not, I will resolve that issue first. At any rate, it's time to strip this thing down and send the customer on his way. I think he'll be really happy with it. It's definitely going to be a lot better than it was. Thanks for watching. Click like and subscribe. Leave us a comment below. Have a great day. Stay safe out there. Thought I was done, didn't you? Need to do a little pinion angle adjustment. It's only got like 1 degree of pinion angle, so I'm going to increase my pinion angle to 3 degrees of pinion angle. That way when it's under load, it should be straight or like 0. And it's pretty easy on this. It's just turning the turnbuckle on the third suspension link. So pretty straightforward stuff. Happy with that. We'll lock it down.
And now we're done.
Onward and upward.